Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back for another episode of our Patreon campaign called The Rise. This is Monty Cook, Cypher Systems, Gods of the Fall campaign. We've been going on for 43 episodes, including this one. That is several years of gameplay. And if you're just joining us now, what are you doing here? Go back and watch the other 42 episodes, you kook. All right, that being said, if you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is just like these fine folks and going over to join us over on our Patreon. Link down below. Join us over there. There's a free tier. You can get all kinds of cool things that I'm uploading over there, but at the $5 tier is where it's at. You get access to all of the after shows for the last several years of games. After shows include insight into the characters, the plots, the GM machinations, etc., ad nauseum. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner is the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, boy, howdy, do I have some shit in store. And two, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to this channel for all things like art, editing, fun little doodads, going to conventions, mortgage, etc. That being said, previously on The Rise. Having learned that his mother was trapped in the deeps, Mina led Antares and Seydlitz around Tanabar Holdfast looking for his parents' old contacts who might have insight. Finding none, the trio went to retrieve Korax, who had fallen into a slumber and was allowed to peruse the King of Nod's library, waking up with new information. Together again, the demigods headed for a tavern to end their night and prepare for their upcoming delve into the first deep. Isn't that so short and sweet? Just like an innocent little episode.
Yeah.
Well, that was then, and this is now.
Mm-hmm.
The air thickens as Mina and Korax descend deeper into the fissure that cuts through the surface of the earth like an ancient scar. The rock walls around them pulse faintly with a low, rhythmic hum, as if the very ground beneath their feet holds its breath. Massive bones, long calcified into stone, jut out from the earth, fossilized remnants of creatures far larger than any living beast above. Some are broken, shattered by the fall, or perhaps by something older. Other bones remain lodged into the rock like the ribs of a long-dead titan, their jagged edges gleaming white against the oppressive shadows. Strange heat radiates from the depths, growing thicker with each step. The air is filled with the scent of damp earth and decay, but beneath that lurks the scent of something ancient, something serpentine. Vines, twisting and choking the cavern walls, drip moisture in an erratic rhythm, while pools of still, dark water reflect glimmers of faint green light from bioluminescent fungi clinging to the bones and stone. This is the first deep, a forgotten world of crumbling bones, broken stasis, and an unshakable sense of being watched. We cut from here back to Tanabar Holdfast. A dinner has ended. A guild hall leader has been irritated. And a feast was had. As the four of you end your night and return back to your appointed rooms at the local inn, we cut to Korax, pacing in his room. Korax, what's up, buddy?
Hi, Mike. Korax has spent like quite a large portion of the night reading. He reads through the contract, makes sure everything's good, and he keeps pacing back and forth through the room, having finished the contract. He keeps remembering that his sister is alive, and that we need to wait. Eventually, after an hour has passed of him back and forth across the room, he starts to pack. He gets his things ready, puts them into whatever pack he's got, fills his pockets with the books that he has, writes a note from one of his pages to say, the contract's all good, read it over, they're not trying to screw you. He wraps it up and starts to leave. He leaves the room walks past the others and stops outside of Seydlitz's room, and he places the contract on the ground outside the door, and he walks. He leaves the building and starts to make his way to the stables where our horses were tied up. Preps his horse, gets ready to go. As he saddles up, he stops, does a thought, and then climbs back down, walks back through town, back to Mina's door, and he knocks very gently and hopes that Mina answers.
Pan into the interior of Mina's room, and Mina is sitting there in a bit of a meditative pose, as he has become accustomed to before drifting off to sleep. He turns on his prayer cast ability, listening for his own name, trying to hear anyone that's trying to get a message to him. He now has a name. He's listening for Eve, Corax's sister, so that he can try to report back to Corax that she's alive and well. And he hears the knock, and he's instantly up, grabs his spear, and throws open the door.
Corax is fully ready. He's got his cloak on. He's literally fully geared. He looks to Mina and says, I know where we need to go. I kind of have a map. It's not 100% clear, and the others are going to make us wait days. I'm going. If you want to join me, we can go. I don't want to tell Antares and Seydlitz because they're going to make us wait days, and I don't know how long they've got.
Sounds good. I'm ready to go. I've been ready to go since we got here. Let me just grab my gear, leave them a note, and we'll get out. We'll go.
All right.
And
Corax waits outside the door. He does not leave a note to say they've left, because in his mind he left a note. Just wasn't the same note.
Yeah, and Mina grabs his gear, which is always ready to go. It's a backpack that's a to-go bag. He grabs his shield, looks down at it with the emblem of the half moon, half sun, and then heads out the door, shutting the door behind him. Says, "I'm ready. Let's go."
And we cut from there. Mina leads the way, senses sharp, every nerve taut with anticipation. Feet steady, but the deeper they go, the more the ground feels like it shifts beneath them. Loose stones scatter underfoot, echoing into the void. Behind him, Corax moves, with an almost unnatural grace. Eyes scanning the walls, the faint light from his hand casting eerie shadows that dance across the ledges of the jagged edges of the rock. The deeper they delve, the more the air becomes oppressive, filled with a distant, almost imperceptible whispering. Words in a language neither fully understands. The tunnel ahead narrows, forcing them to duck beneath an arch of fossilized ribs. As they pass beneath the bones, the ground trembles briefly as if the deep itself stirs in restless sleep. Their path opens into a wider cavern, where the remnants of what might have once been eggs are scattered across the floor. Some are intact, towering, and covered in a thin layer of limestone-like mineral deposits. Others are broken, hollowed out, their contents long since decayed. Among the scattered shells are the unmistakable marks of serpentine trails, the unmistakable evidence of something large and many-tailed moving through these tunnels. A faint trickle of water falls from the ceiling, disturbing the silence as it splashes into the muddy pools that dot the cavern floor. The bones of ancient beasts stand like silent sentinels, their skeletal forms twisted into strange, unnatural positions, as if frozen in mid-struggle. The humid air is thick with the scent of damp, stone, and rot, but beneath it lingers a faint hint of something alive, something moving in the darkness. From the shadows, The sound of something scraping against stone echoes through the cavern. It's distant, but unmistakable. Something is coming. We cut back to Tanabar Holdfast. Dawn has approached here in the ruinscape, and with it, as is often the case, Antares, you are one of the first to wake. What are you doing this fine morning?
Yeah, she wakes up. She's probably been up well before, since the sun came up. She actually likes watching the sunrise, and so she probably would have done that. And I think we find her. She's sitting on the rooftop, and she's writing a letter. Yeah.
Do we get to see what the letter says?
Sure. I could read it if you would like.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so she's sitting there with the parchment on her lap with her writing implement, and hear the scratching of the pen, and it reads, "Dear Stephanie, it's only been a week, but it feels like I've been away for months. I never expected it would be this hard being away from Samora. Despite everything going on, my mind keeps returning to you and Aurora. I wish more than anything that you were well. Please forgive my forwardness, but I find myself needing to be honest. I feel like everything around me is trying to drain my soul, but thoughts of you bring me comfort. We can't trust anyone, and everything is wrought with gloom, but the memory I hold of you stills my mind. If our mission wasn't so important to the boys, I would come home. That's a strange word to me, home. I hope you and Aurora are making a home for yourself. I hope you're filling it with laughter, warmth, and lots of plants. We start our journey into the depths soon. Please say a prayer of luck for us. I don't know what lies ahead on our path, but I think we're going to need all the help we can get. I'll do everything in my power to return home." And then we see her sign, "Yours," and Terry's.
Okay.
And then she folds it up and stuffs it inside like an envelope. Yeah.
You do this as the sun rises over the mountains. You see the sun sort of peek out over the mountains in the far north as it sort of cascades down the valleys of the ruinscape. You think you can see the massive mountain, the mouth of winter in the distance, as you watch slowly as the city around you begins to come to life. You see carts being moved out. You see delvers leaving for their early shift. You see elevators return. You hear the sound, the turning gears and wheels, and sound of elevators coming back from various shafts scattered on the edges of the city, of the Holdfast, as people begin to start their day. Where do you head from here?
As she sees the carts being like pulled out and everything, she looks down and just kind of cocks her head, and she throws her legs back over the side, and she hurries down to the main floor and back onto the street. And she's gonna find a flower cart.
Okay. Rare to find, but you do find one. Flowers are not in demand here in a city of industry and a city of a hard day's work in the deeps. But, even in the darkest places, beauty can be found. And you see a small, less a cart, and more like a small, hand wagon that a young woman, probably in her mid to early 20s, so probably about your age. And with her is a small child, maybe 4 years old, as they are passing out flowers for no cost to anyone who will take them.
Yeah, she sees them and goes up to them, and those are beautiful flowers.
Thank you. We found them. There's a small glade to the north of the city. We're just if you like them.
She's gonna give them a couple stars. I'll buy them.
Oh, they're for free. They're just to brighten anyone's day, really.
Well, I'm gonna send one to a close friend of mine.
Oh, well, I hope it makes it there safe.
Me too. Yeah, so she will look to the little girl and give her like a wink and put the 2 stars in her hand subtly, and then she will take a flower.
You see her like slip the hand into an apron. And you have like what amounts to like a purple odd color in our world, but a big old purple like daffodil
Sweet
kind of looking flower.
And she's gonna go like this and put it in the envelope. No, I'm just kidding.
Just crush it.
She's gonna carefully. She's gonna step off to the side, and she's gonna like with more care than Antares has probably done anything. She's going to like unfold the letter, like phrase it flat, and then put the flower down, and then arrange it so it's not gonna like when it opens, it's not gonna like crumble or anything. So she's gonna like flatten the head of the flower and then carefully fold it over and like gently press it and then stick it in the envelope. And
you've stolen some baker's paper from the kitchen to like perfectly like press it. Yeah.
Yes. It's gonna be a perfectly pressed flower, however long it takes to get there.
Perfect. So as this happens, and you begin to stroll in whatever direction it is you begin to stroll, where do we find Seydlitz this morning?
Seydlitz is probably sitting by the window of his room, and he is bottling up a message to a carrier pigeon.
Everyone writes letters today. Do we get to see what Seydlitz's letter says? Not to put you on the spot. But
I'm not very good when it comes to that, but I'm not going to match G, unfortunately, but basically the gist of it is it's more of asking for a status update. It's honed in on his brother-in-law, so he's sending it out to see where Fernand is.
Okay, so you're basically trying to find where the caravan is, like what the delay is. Yeah, perfect.
A caravan and a request of, is it possible to hurry up?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we see you sort of like tie this into a small little vial, like a very a small glass vial, sort of cap the end of that, and then walk. It's a tavern. It's a place of travelers. You walk up towards basically where we saw Antares at the start, and there on the roof is a like a coop for ravens and pigeons and birds of message, for you to be able to send that off to your brother or to your brother-in-law. So we see you tie that off to the leg and sort of let the bird alight. Where do you go from here?
Seydlitz is going to look for basically the first person he can find of his group.
Okay. Antares, where does Seydlitz find you?
She's probably returning to the Le Hotel after she's deposited the letter at the mail carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Henri, good morning.
Stop. Did you go back and watch to find his name?
Yes, if you watched it, you would know too.
He looks to you and says, hello. Welcome back.
Yeah. And she will... Maybe she'll run into Seydlitz and as he's coming down.
I can do for you today?
And she will walk away.
I do apologize. Sorry. Out of towners, you see.
Mm-hmm.
As he says to some other incoming guest.
She runs into him as Seydlitz coming down as she's heading back up.
Don't randomly throw a French NPC at me and expect me not to have a shitty accent. I'll show you. Terrible French and terrible Irish are my specialties. Yeah, so Seydlitz, you see her sort of like waving away Henri as she is coming back towards the stairs, and you're coming down the stairs.
Morning.
Good morning, Antares. Have you seen the other two?
No, I'm assuming they're still sleeping.
Seydlitz checks his. Well, actually, would there be such thing as a watch here?
Not really. Like there would be timepieces of the time. So there'd be like probably like a building with some sort of timepiece, or like I imagine like sundials. I mean, magic isn't like super huge and industrial here that there would be like giant watchtowers, like clock towers rather. So yeah, so there would be like some sort of like sundial in certain places. You could see the time, probably in the front courtyard of Le Hotel. Yeah. So you can check what time it is out there.
Is it early?
It is. It's before 10 a.m. Essentially.
Okay.
I mean, you guys watch the sunrise, so like it's probably like 6, 7 a.m.
Okay.
I guess it is a bit early.
What's that? What do you got there? She noticed the scroll.
Oh, it's a note Korax left.
Why would he leave you a note?
I don't know. Here, it's just him saying, "Oh, the contract's all fine." So
Okay. Is that the contract there?
Yes.
mhm.
And he just left it outside your room?
Seems so.
That seems... To Antares, that seems a little weird. Korax would be the paper holder, the contract carrier,
Korax, paper holder.
the contractier, maybe, even.
Pepelier.
Yes, Seydlitz would find it odd, but honestly, he just kind of like, huh, I guess, well, it is my thing, so I guess he just wanted to give it to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if she would find that cause for concern or not.
I mean, he was told to read it over and check if it was, you know, any discernible lies or double crosses or triple double crosses.
Yeah, it's just
Double,
the
triple
fact that
crosses.
he's not holding onto the contract himself, and that he just left it outside his door. Hmm. Well, any word about the caravan?
I just sent a messenger, so we should hear back in a little bit.
And I would say she checks her watch. She checks the sun. When are they supposed to be arriving?
Within a day or two.
Day or two. Okay. Well, all this waiting is making me antsy. As much as I am so excited to go down there.
Basically, you guys left on horseback, so you guys can move at the speed of horses. They have 2 draft horses pulling the wagon, but they also have the guard group on foot, so they can only move as fast as the slowest person. So they're still moving at a regular walking pace or a marching pace. So it will take them probably twice as long as it took you to get there.
Yeah.
Plus, you did leave a note in Dawn's Fall.
But the caravan's not going through Dawn's Fall.
I believe you requested that they did. Or was the note just for anyone else who would travel back through Dawn's Fall? I thought the note was for the caravan specifically.
Korax's note is for anyone.
Okay, cool. All right.
Well, no, sorry, he sent a message back to, maybe it was to Fernand? He did
I
send a
thought-
message to someone to say, can you get the stuff and take it?
I thought you did say that. You sent a message back. So that would delay them a little bit as well. But they should be here in the next day or so. That's your best guesstimate.
Well, what do you suggest, Seydlitz?
Well, if they're asleep, we shouldn't really wake them since we still gotta wait another day, maybe day and a half until the caravan gets here.
All right. So we just sit and twiddle our thumbs until they arrive.
As you say that, as if perfectly queued up for me, we cut to elsewhere. Without warning, the shadows shift. From the dark corners of the cavern, Kathir emerge, silent and swift. Their snake-like bodies glide across the floor, dozens of writhing tails propelling them forward. Their eyes gleam with an unnatural light, and in their hands they hold serpent-shaped artifacts, long and sharp, already glinting with an eerie glow. The first Kathir strikes from the side, launching its artifact through the air. The blade slices through the cavern's dim light, aimed for Mina, who dodges instinctively, the blade whistling past him, striking the stone with a high-pitched ring. Another Kathir lunges from the opposite side, its many tails coiling around the rock, propelling it forward in a blur of scales. Korax raises his hand, his fingers crackling with faint magical energy as he attempts to react to the sudden onslaught. But before he can act, a third Kathir priest appears from the shadows, its hands glowing with a strange pulsing light. It begins to chant in a low, guttural tone, and the cavern around them seems to shudder in response, the ancient bones vibrating as if answering a call. The ambush is swift, coordinated, and relentless. The Kathir move like predators who have done this countless times before, their serpentine forms almost impossible to follow as they slither through the gloom. Mina and Korax are surrounded, trapped between the shifting shadows and the gleaming eyes of the Kathir, their way forward blocked by these serpentine creatures and their strong, unearthly magic. Korax, Mina, you are surrounded by beings of which you have never seen. At first glance, one might assume they were Sleen, except for the fact they tower a good 6, 7, 8 feet high off the ground, much taller than a Sleen. Also noted, they don't have legs or feet. They just have serpentine bodies. And not serpentine like a singular snake. Many writhing snake tails form their lower half. You see there are several of them grappling their many tails around stalagmites. You see there is this priest wearing robed vestments that sort of entangle with the various snake tails, casting something. And you see, or you hear rather, a low but deep, like boom, boom, banging sound coming from deeper in the direction you were headed. It seems as though you have figured out what may have been watching you this entire time. What are the two of you doing?
My first question, Mike, is along
Yes.
this journey to get to where we are, would we have had a chance to get any recovery rolls? Because Korax was very low on intellect at the end of the last episode.
Here's what I'll say. You didn't sleep at night, so you can take your action, your 10-minute, and your
1 hour?
1 hour. Both of you can take
Perfect.
the first 3 if you don't already have them checked off.
That was needed.
And for those of you who did get a full night's rest, you can roll all 4 of yours if you need them. So the Kathir, the not priest, they are twice the size of a human and possess the lower body of writhing snake tails, cunning and relentless, and they act in packs. The priest looks similar, however, in priestly vestments of serpentine garb, ceremonial garb.
Gee, those first 2 rolls were so unlucky. they were ones.
Oh. I'm not as low as you are, so thank God.
Better roll a 1 on a recovery roll than a
I only
20.
needed 2 points, so I got
Yeah.
2, so I'm good.
Perfect.
Mina was maxed already, so he hasn't been doing anything.
How do
But
you
Mike-
really feel, G?
As we were walking along, Mike, Korax, you said, had the blue, the faint light. That comes from one of his abilities, Resonance Field. Resonance Field gives him some defensey things on people attacking him.
It does.
When I make an intellect defense roll, I can protect. How close is the nearest doodad person coming at us?
Catheen. Kathir, rather. The nearest one to you is within short range of you. So not immediate in close combat, but pretty close.
Okay. Is close more than 10 feet?
I don't think so. Well, what do you mean? You mean less than 10 feet, like closer or farther away?
Closer to
It
10
is.
feet.
I think it is like 5 to 10 feet is, or 5 to like 30 feet. I forget the actual measurements in this game.
Okay.
Um,
That is too close. Okay. Then Korax is going to spin towards the first person who's closest to him instinctively, and he is going to try and attack them with an arcane flare.
Okay. So the closest person to you would be a Kathir. So go ahead, just one of the scouts. So this is a difficulty 4 creature here. So any rolls will be made at difficulty 4.
Okay. Not at these efforts. He fails.
He sure does. So the sheer panic of a unexpected ambush, and you, as you begin to cast this spell and pull this arcane energy, this arcane light around you, the depth of shadows around you sort of like abates any light you have, and you quickly realize just how alone you are with Mina. When you are used to fighting with far more people. As you go to cast this flare and you just see it sort of sparkle out of your hand and ineffectually sort of cast a little bit of light in the direction of these Kathir. Mina, what do we see you doing?
Mina quickly goes into a defensive stance, putting himself between Korax and the priest. Is the priest in the front line? Is he within striking
The
distance?
priest is further back, and you can see based on like what had happened in this, right? And your like battlefield tactician sort of kicks in. Whatever they are holding, they are casting it like it's like almost like a whip or almost like a sling. This like serpentine artifact, and some sort of like burst of light is very quickly coming out of this thing, and you see it impact as if it were like a bladed weapon, like it'll cut the top off a stalagmite kind of thing.
So Mina will go for whatever Kathir is between him and the priest.
Okay.
And he will activate his Nimbus and then attack.
Okay. These are difficulty 4. So the regular Kathir are difficulty 4. So go ahead and make a. This is your sword, your spear.
Spear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make a
gets
spear
reduced
attack.
by 3 for the shifts.
Okay. Success. Absolutely. Holy shit. Oh,
Put
man.
some effort into damage.
Yeah. I see that. I forgot how just absolute beast mode your damage is. So describe how your first interaction with the Kathir is murdering the shit out of one of them.
So basically, Mina quickly steps in between Korax and the first Kathir that tried to attack. Eyeing the priest, Mina gets his nimbus to flare, and then just screaming as loud as he can, he just thrusts his spear straight through the neck of the nearest Kathir, and it just explodes out behind him.
Absolutely. You see this like dark, purplish green ichor sort of splat out of the back of this thing, and as you retract your spear, you see just sort of crumple. Its various tails sort of writhing around themselves as they sort of unfurl to the ground. And we cut back to just a peaceful little breakfast inside of a tavern. And Terry's and Seydlitz, what are you two doing? It's probably we'll jump forward in time. It's probably like 10 o'clock. Breakfast has been had. You still haven't seen any hide nor hair of Korax and Mina.
I think they're maybe sitting in the little eating area of this hotel, and they have like coffees in front of them or something. And Terry's has been like fiddling with something like the salt and pepper shaker or something. So she's like she has one of them, and she's like been repeating tapping it on the table. And she looks at Seydlitz. How far away is is the entrance from here?
Seydlitz,
Mike, how far away?
You would know that the contracted one is the closest one, the one that you are authorized to go through from the guild hall, and that is maybe an hour's walk outside of town.
About an hour's walk outside of town, so a few miles.
Maybe we can at least like start heading that way, and the caravan can catch up. What about our guide?
Could. We'd have to go get him.
She nods. And she looks up like where like she's looking for the boys. I'm surprised they're not down yet, like pacing back and forth. So maybe we could appease them if we start walking, like heading that way.
May go wake them up. I'll wait here.
Well, how about you go collect the guide if you can? But
I can do that.
Mike, I'm assuming our guide is designated in the contract?
Yes. All the information. I imagine that in Korex's letter, it would say it's all good, and then like the cliff notes of like guy's name, meeting point, just the basics because he knows no one else is going to read the contract. Yeah, so it would have the person's name, where to find them, the appointed like times and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. You go collect the guide. I'll see why they're not up yet. Then she will
All right.
get 2 fresh coffees and head up.
Okay. Seydlitz, you head outside the tavern, outside the inn, and you make your way to the guild hall. You kind of have the path memorized at this point. If
Has
you
Seydlitz
are
received a reply yet?
from the caravan,
Yeah.
no. If the caravan's a day away, it's going to take the bird, a travel to get there and a travel to get back. It's only been a couple hours. So it's not like flying at the speed of sound. It's not a peregrine falcon over here. It's a pigeon.
Flying at the speed of wind.
Yeah. So no, you're not expecting. You may at the fastest you might get a reply back from like tonight, depending on like how the winds fare. The bird catches a good tailwind. So yeah, it's going to take you the better part of the day to receive a reply. Effective, but not fast. This bird carrier. So you head out to the guild hall. If you're just going to get the guy, pretty simple task. You can walk into basically the contracting office where you had found Korax, a place that you are familiar with, and just request him. If you are going anywhere else, where would that be?
Seydlitz isn't going anywhere else. He's just going to get the guide because it seems that plans have changed. Everybody except for him wants to go, so you can't really stop them at this point, even though he thinks they're doing stupid decisions.
That's fair. Such is the life of Seydlitz. In most situations, he just goes, "Damn youths!" So we see a montage of essentially Seydlitz kind of walking to the guild hall, speaking with a few representatives, giving the location of the inn that you're staying at, and the guide, one of the aides is going to send the guide over to that tavern. And then we see Seydlitz kind of walking back. During that, we see Antares, 2 cups of coffee in hand, headed carefully up the stairs. And we'll say you see Korax's room first.
Yeah. So she walks up. She's got the cups in both hands, and she knocks with her boot, like boom, boom, boom. Korax, time to get up. What are you doing? I have coffee.
You get no response.
Boom, boom. Korax.
Continued, no response.
Dragon, and she's going to, she's like, ow, hot, and she like, well, she'll put the cups down, and then she will try the handle. Korax, are you decent?
Still nothing.
Is the door locked?
The door is not.
Yeah, so she turns in. Okay, Korax, you better not be freaking naked in there. And then she will open the door. Hello? What are you doing?
You open the door and the room is, well, Korax, how clean is the room? Not like of your stuff. Your stuff's all gone. But is the room, like, tidied up?
Was there a table in the room?
It would be a table, like a little reading desk, a bed, lamp.
So the table wouldn't be perfect. The chair would be askew, but the bed is completely unused. It's as they arrived.
Yeah, like he's never been here.
Yeah. Like he's moved the chair, he sat on the desk, read some stuff, and then left.
She will step out of the room and she probably knocks over the coffee with her foot in her hurry, and she doesn't even like notice. And she will jog to Mina's room. Boom, boom, boom. Mina!
Similarly, you get no response.
She shoulders the door open. She doesn't even try the handle.
It was unlocked, so it just sort of bursts in. Mina, in what state does she find your room?
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
That is true. Pretty much the same as Korax's, albeit there's been no use of the writing desk or anything like that. All his gear's gone. The bed hasn't been slept in. There's maybe a cup of something that was left on the desk that's empty, but very cold.
Yeah, I think her face just falls, like... And then her nimbus flares, and then, I don't know, Seydlitz might hear on the god radio or something like that. She just hears, Seydlitz!
All the way across the city.
Yeah,
Seydlitz feels his ears burn.
I think Seydlitz is walking back, and it's one of those, like, zoom out where we see, like, Antares go, Seydlitz! And the camera zooms out, and we see a little, like, the birds on the roof sort of fly off, take flight. And Seydlitz is walking back, and you just see, like, like an entire, like, murmuration of birds just sort of and fly off of the coop at the top of the building.
That cart of flowers, all the petals fall off.
Yeah.
I've been playing too much Ace Attorney because my Seydlitz is just doing that one position with Edgeworth where he's like, ugh!
Yeah. Objection. Yeah, so you can hear the faint ringing of your name being screamed from the inn that you are headed towards.
And she... Oh, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Nope. Seydlitz can go first.
Great. Seydlitz, what are you doing? As you hear your name being yelled, Seydlitz, what are you doing?
oh boy, this better be good. Is just always muttering to himself as he continues walking back to Le Hotel.
God.
Murdered, she says. And she yeah, and she like leaps down the stairs, like not taking one at a time. She's like bounding down the stairs, and then she runs out of the hotel. And futilely, she looks like down the street, like back and forth, like some bizarre chance that she could see them, even though she knows
Yeah,
they
like you
can't.
just missed them.
Yeah. How could we miss them? We were sitting there the whole time. No.
Those sneaky sons of bitches! I'll find
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. So she'll look both ways, and then she will run towards the guild.
It is a few seconds before you run, like almost into Seydlitz, who is, completely unprepared for your rage and is just walking back at a regular pace, a foot pace, if you will.
Yeah, he sees her running towards him, and then she'll slow. She's like, "They're gone. They're both gone. All of their stuff is gone. They've left."
Seydlitz just gives the disappointed father face.
I can't believe it. No, actually, I can believe it. I can believe it. You know what? It was probably Korax's idea. It's just some stupid cockamamie idea that Korax would have. And then he knows Mina is so stupid enough to go along with it. God, by the freaking dragon.
I hope
I'm
that
going to chop their feet
Mina
off
and
next time I
Korax
see them.
somehow through divine providence are hearing this.
So,
Just
I hope-
mid combat, Mina's like stabbing the shit out of Kathir, and he just feels like a shiver run down his spine.
I hope so. Just like, and Korax knows that Mina's so easily freaking manipulated. Like, he's so easily manipulated, he'll fall for anything. Why would they do that? Why? And she like runs her hand through her hair and like paces in a circle. What do we do? Korax, all his stupid god knowledge up in his head, he knows where they're going. We don't have a map. How are we supposed to follow them? Where's the guide? She looks like behind him. Where is he?
Seydlitz turns and the guy's just standing there.
When everyone
What's his
goes
name?
back to rewatch this episode, please, in the timeline, point to me where G stopped role-playing and is just genuinely mad at Chris and Norm.
It was the point where it was all
Just
Korax.
show me where it's no longer Antares and where it's entirely G for the rest of the scene.
Mike,
I want the
when
time.
you watch it back, it's at the very beginning, very beginning when you said, so Korax and Mina are in a cabin and you see G.
You see the soul
Yeah.
leave body. She
Yeah.
goes, "These sons of bitches
My soul
did
goes,
something."
my soul goes la poof. Let's see.
So as as the two of you try to figure out what to do, I will take that opportunity to cut back here. To this cavern under attack. Just a little friendly ambush here. Let's see. You see, Mina, pull your spear back, retract the spear back from one of them. As you see it slump, you see coming from the other side, like behind the priest, two more are sort of like this, like curving through serpentine, quite literally in your direction. You see basically one like leaps off of a bone. Leap is a strong term, but it launches itself off of a bone. You can see it's like the muscles in its tails sort of contracting and popping off like a coiled spring. As one of them dips down and sort of goes for your legs, the other one launches off a protruding bone and goes for your chest, your head. I would like I would like 2 rolls here from Mina. Both of these are going to be difficulty 4, but I would like a speed defense roll and a might defense roll.
Is the speed defense something you can use his shield for?
You can use your shield for one or the other, I'll say.
Okay. He'll use it for the speed defense.
Okay. Shield success. Okay. Hell yeah. So you see these like long serpentine bodies. One of them launches itself off of this thing and it's sort of flying at you through the air. And you can see the tails sort of like wrapping around themselves, coiling. And you see another one as this one leaps up. You see another one like cut down and sort of go low as if to like catch you in some sort of pinning move. At the last second, you like plant your foot on on an old stone or bone or whatever's near you, and you sort of launch yourself to the side, and you leap just over the one on the ground, and the one flying through the air is sort of arms out at you, but you can see it like turning midair as if to grab you with its tails, and you just sort of deliver an elbow into what you imagine where the ribs would be. It's just enough force to throw it off, and you leap just one step closer towards the priest as you sort of these two kind of land and they are now in between where you were and Korax. So it's now Korax, these two, you, a priest. All around you we see like these like lightning fast bolts of this whatever energy, this blade like energy is casting about from various distances around, kind of giving you the idea that there are more waiting in the wings. Korax, you see this display of might from Mina, and as the dust sort of clears, the other two the other two Kathir get up, and you can see through them is the priest, and the priest has more or less locked on to you. And what you see is this priest is sort of chanting over some sort of glowing serpentine relic. And you see this like ghostly green purple glow out of the eyes of this thing match the eyes of this Kathir. And you see it like drive its hand down as if to like stake this thing in the ground, just that kind of motion. And you see where it like stops, you see something drops out of the bottom of it. And you see 3 ethereal like boa constrictors moving quickly underfoot towards you. So there are 3 of these things moving towards you. I will need a speed defense from you, Korax.
Cool. So Korax's ability Resonance Field allows him to use defense instead of thing. And he is trained in defense tasks.
Oh, intelligence defense.
So,
yeah.
Sorry, intelligence defense. Yeah.
Yep.
That's difficulty 4. You said
difficulty 6 on these guys.
Oh, that's not good.
The priest is a little bit, a little bit more.
I'm gonna try and save myself, Mike.
This is your idea.
Success.
Outstanding. Cool. So you see these like massive snakes coming directly towards you. I would like to know how do you get around them?
Korax waits until the last seconds because he knows which direction they're coming from. And he is going to dive over the top of them towards Mina.
Outstanding. So you're going to put yourself just a little bit closer to the 2 Kathir that sort of leapt over and under Mina. But you dive over these things. You see them sailing past you as you're like in this tuck and roll dive. You see them circle back, like they're going to circle back towards you on their next movement. What do we see Korax and Mina do as a rebuttal to this scene?
Do you want to go now?
Yeah. I think you see Mina straightens himself up from the one that flew over the top of him, and you just see him try to lock eyes with the priest, and he just stabs his spear back at one of the ones standing between him and Korax.
Hell yeah. Go ahead and roll me a difficulty 4. Spear attack. Hot damn. Outstanding. So yeah, you you absolutely do that. You sort of spin the spear around and just ram it backwards, instinctively knowing exactly where that one, the one you jumped over landed. And Korax, as you like complete your roll, you sort of like pop up to like your knees, and you realize that you just rolled closer to 2 of these Kathir. And as you look at them, you just see like right through the abdomen, a spear appear. Blood and viscera, this green ichor sort of splashes down over your robes as you see the spear pull back out and it sort of slumps down in front of you. What do you do, Korax?
So Korax, seeing the guy send out some snakes, does he get any sense that this object would be something he can interact with remotely using his fling ability? So rules as written, he can move anything that's about his size or smaller, and send it. Distance is short range.
He is not short range.
It's not short range. Okay. And how dark is the room that we're in?
You're in a cavern, so it's lit basically by whatever glow you're emitting, and I assume one of you had a torch at some point, which is now sort of cast to the ground. So by a single torch. So pretty dark.
Okay. He's going to shout to Mina to close his eyes, and he is going to cast Fire Bloom on the priest. So Fire Bloom is within long range, filling an area 10 feet in radius and inflicting 3 points of damage on all affected targets. Blah, 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 blah. Flammable objects in the area may catch fire.
Okay. Yeah, the roll is going to be a level 6. Level 6 roll.
Level 6, go. Let's use some effort. No assets. Failure. So even on a failure, it does 1 point of damage.
Okay. So you basically begin to like cast this thing. And we see runes start to like appear on the ground beneath the priest, and they begin to like glow in fire as this like almost like lotus style flame just begins to burst from around this Kathir, and you see that it like twists its tails almost like a corkscrew and lifts itself out, and so only like the very fringes of its tails get burnt by that attack. You see it doesn't explode and sort of cast it on anybody else. But as you light up the cavern, and you can see that hanging from stalactites are 2 more of these things. They're the ones that are like whipping these like light blades in your direction. So you know there's at least 2 above you, 1 left in front of you, and the priest, and you hear a continued from the deep, this pounding rhythmic sound. And we cut. Oh, good.
Does the bright light impact them at all? Because they live in the dark.
It does not, strangely enough.
Ooh.
It does not.
Wow.
In fact, you see that their eyes glow, and you see that their eyes glow. You know what? You're the god of knowledge. Why would I have to guess this? They don't glow like so like they don't glow like a blind mole. Like they don't glow like something that has that like lantern-esque light. They glow more like reptilian or like cat, where they have that like light filtration, that sort of like bioluminescent light in their eyes that they can see in high and low light environments. So it does not blind them.
Perfect.
Cool. That is that. What do we cut back to Tanabar Holdfast as Antares is aggressively pacing and demanding a guide. And what do we see the 2 of you doing as the realization that your companions have abandoned you has set in?
Is the guide there, or no?
We'll say a narrative amount of time has passed for the guide to have arrived. You
Are
see
we
him
back
walking.
at the?
You see him walking up.
What's his name? You never gave us a name.
I didn't, because he's written as the guide in my books. His name is Tandri.
Andrew. The guide.
Yes.
He's the guy.
Mm-hmm. Are we back at the inn then when he's
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So and Terry has all her shit and her sword and stuff like that, her bag on her back. And she's been like pacing, waiting for him. And I guess like before he walks in. Well, they clearly don't need our help. So we're gonna go find your dad?
I wish it were that simple.
Well-
But Korax had all the maps.
True, but we do know that he fell from a cliff's edge. So perhaps this Tandri guy, when he shows up, that can lead us somewhere.
Seydlitz shakes his head. I'd rather go save the two idiots before they get themselves killed.
They clearly think they can take it on their own, so why should we risk our necks? Just to risk it a second time when we gotta go down to find your dad?
Strength
That was
in
the whole
numbers is
reason
a
why
thing.
we're here in the first place.
Strength in numbers is a thing. Besides, though much I hate to admit it, I kind of like those two.
She scoffs. I don't know why you would. They clearly
I'd
don't
rather
think
not
much.
have any.
They clearly don't think much about us, Seydlitz. Otherwise, they would have begged us to go. They would have said something. But no, they just left on their own. So they clearly don't need
Do you
our
want
help.
their deaths on your hands?
It's not going to be on my hand. They left. I could have helped them, but no, they don't give a shit.
Yes, you can help them, but you won't. The depths are not a friendly place. Korax isn't a fighter. If Mina goes down, Korax is a sure dead.
Oh, Korax is a crafty motherfucker. He's a lot more good at surviving than we give him credit for.
Not that place.
Don't underestimate him. You
And
seriously want to go
besides-
after them?
It's kind of on the way anyway.
Not if we can find this shortcut.
The
the
shortcut is
safest-
in the third deeps.
The shortcut's already in the third depth.
How did we know
We're
that?
gonna go that direction regardless.
Did we know that the cliff was on the third? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'd have missed that part.
He went missing on a expedition to the third deeps.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Whatever you want to do.
I don't want to do this either. But it's better than not sitting by and doing nothing.
Well,
Besides,
my original oath was to help you find your father. So
and I'm happy you agreed to that. But so was theirs.
yeah, and they just
And I
backstabbed
also
you with it.
promised to help Mina find his mother when he told us.
Sure, whatever. When's this guy supposed to show up?
Any moment now.
You see he's in his 30s, sort of tightly shaved, manscaped, but salt and pepper beard. It's probably about like 6'5", barrel chested, and you see that he is carrying a large, very like angular backpack, but like angular, not with like stuff jutting out of it, angular in that like it has a frame to it, like it's a hardened sort of pack. You see that there are like shovels and pickaxes, and you see like a large sort of pole sort of sticks out at an angle and has a lantern sort of hanging from it. And you see that this person seems to be ready to rock and roll. Looks definitely like a delver, and he walks into the room, into the tavern here, and sort of looks around. And he says, excuse me, I was told to meet a...
Seydlitz and Antares?
Yes.
That's us.
Over here.
I've been appointed to you as your resident guide on behalf of the Whitecaps.
Nice to meet you.
You
Antares,
as
Seydlitz.
Tantry.
Well, things have a bit changed in plans, but we're leaving soon. Or than we expected.
The contract has already been signed. Your presence, they added an addendum to it. They'll send it here for you. We can meet with your caravan and head in as soon as you'd like.
Caravan's not going to be here for another day. We gotta go now.
All right. Well, I've traveled with less.
It's
let's
more
go.
of our two idiotic companions decided to go without us. Already.
Treasure fever is what I like to call it.
What do you think their survival chances are? I give them 30%?
Inexperienced delvers such as yourselves, yeah, I mean, most don't make it past the first deep. Most come screaming back out in the first hour or so.
Do we need
Well,
anything?
Antares, maybe we'll find them sitting out at the entrance when we get there.
She just rolls her eyes. Do we need, like you said, we're inexperienced. What do we need? Like, she nods towards his pack and then her pack, which is significantly probably
Smaller.
Most delvers have hammer, pythons, rope, climbing gear, anything of the kind. Weapons, of course. The Kathir on the first deep can be pretty challenging, and fortunately, I have yet to tussle with a thunder beast. But there are a few things here that can stomp you right into the ground. And that's just the first deep alone. People think that it's the most explored, but really it is still quite deadly. And you said you wanted to go to the third deep, not to mention the giants. That'll be a problem. Usually I try to avoid that, but if you can fight your way through things, and as long as you don't fall down any holes or cliffs or keep your footing around you, food for as long as you want to be in there. I don't know about you, but I'm of the belief that if you eat things you find in there, you may be trapped in there. So you want to be careful with that.
we have rations.
And I think our goal here is basically right now is to go find our erstwhile idiots and drag them back out.
They're can we be walking and talking at this point?
Sure.
Okay. They're heading for the steps of the Colossus.
Well, that's where the contract says. So I'll head there. I'll keep an eye out. The first deep is fairly traversed, but I'll keep an eye out for any signs of your companions, any signs of a scuffle or a fight of some kind. If you have any way to, track your friends, by all means, please feel free. But I can get you to the steps of the Colossus.
Seydlitz here is the tracker.
Well, by all means, I'm not one to step up and take charge of something that I'm clearly not as good at, but I can get you there. And if you find your friends along the way, then all the more power to you.
She just nods and keeps walking.
All right. talkative bunch. And he heads towards the deeps. And you guys can see, the two of you see for the first time, you see like, it's the weird way to describe this. But imagine if somebody took a bite out of a continent, right? Like a sandwich. You see like the layer that you're standing on, and then you see a distinct layer of like sediment and rock, and then you can see like huge swaths of like area cut into it, and you see like other area and like gnarly, like these are enormous, and you see these crags that sort of like pull out of this thing, like spider webbing their way out towards the actual inland itself. And you see him walking out towards a large, almost like a derrick. You see a big wooden sort of crane operating, and you see a large like box almost. And he walks over towards that, exchanges a few pleasantries with one of the whitecaps that's working there, and he welcomes you aboard what is ultimately a wooden floor with 3 wooden rails around the side of it, and wooden poles that sort of go up and attach to ropes. So a very makeshift elevator that begins to be hand cranked down into the deeps as the 3 of you enter into this place, and you see much the same as we saw with Korax and Mina. The lower you, the deeper you get into this, the more oppressively hot and humid the air becomes, as if you're caught in some sort of updraft. It constantly feels like it has just rained here. The air feels like sticky and like it clings to your body. And you get deeper and deeper, and you begin to see the first of these like half dome shaped objects, and as you descend you realize that you're looking at like 2/3 of an egg, but the egg is like 15 feet tall and broken open, and you see this calcified inside of whatever was in here that would be inside of a 15-foot tall egg. You see fragments of other ones slightly smaller. You see these huge fungi forests and vines sort of wrapping around things as you descend into the darkness. You see Tandri lean over and Flint and Tinder a torch. He sort of just holds it up for somebody, and then you see him light a big lantern that he sort of hangs from the hook that's coming out of his pack. And you see him like twist a knob, and the lantern like irises, so it forms like a beam of light in the direction that he's pointed, as the elevator comes to a stop. What do the 2 of you do?
After so many years, I never thought I'd actually step foot in this place. My father always told me never to come here.
And she's been like checking out everything as they've been getting deeper and deeper.
So what are the rules, Tandri?
Stay with me, I guess, is the primary rule. Don't go running off on your own. If I tell you to get low, we get low. If I tell you to be quiet, we be quiet. I don't know how much you tourists know about this place, but there is a sentient, I hesitate to call it a tribe, a sentient civilization down here. We call them the Kathir. They are... I don't know. I guess
I've heard the rumors. They're similar to Sleen in some aspects.
Yeah, some people think that they're like the proto-Sleen, like a Sleen from a bygone era. They don't have legs. They sort of like 1,000 snakes is their body. Right. They have an entire civilization here. They're ruins of cities. We think they have a language. They seem to communicate with each other. And some reports say that they have some control over the thunder beasts that dwell here. And he sort of motions to the 15-foot tall egg when he says thunder beast, as if that's what crawled its way out of it. And he says, they are... I don't know. I think there's some sort of like factional war between them. We see a lot of Kathir corpses that have been killed by weapons that we don't currently have. And and they're not too fond of us either. So we try to avoid their war bands.
Is there
I
any
take it.
point in stealth here, or
Oh, every point.
we're good at stealth?
Great. Let's use that to our advantage. And he steps off the platform and begins leading you quietly and quickly through the deeps.
Yeah, I think she will take one last look at the clear sky before she follows him in.
Okay. We cut back to our wayward sons, as it were. We see two more of the Kathir that are wrapped to the roof whip these like light blades in your direction. One aiming for Korax, one aiming for Mina. Both of you can make me a speed test or a speed defense difficulty 4. Okay. And of course, Korax, you can use your intellect defense because of your ability.
What's the difficulty again? 4?
4, yep.
Perfect.
Okay, so we see one get whipped, and we see this like almost like as if you were to like throw a blade, but not like forward. You kind of throw it sideways, and it just sort of like whips around. Not to be a stereotype, Norm, but almost like a boomerang. Like that's what I imagine it would look like. A knife-a-ring, as it were, as it goes through the air, and you sort of like as you pull out your spear, you just raise it in enough time where it like cling hits yours, and you see like it doesn't actually make a clang. It's not made out of metal, but you see this thing hit with a force that like moves your arm as you see it start to fall, and you just watch it dissipate into nothing. Korax, however, you are still tumbling from your roll. You get splattered with this like snake-like ichor as you go to like wipe it out of the side of like your face and stand as this other Kathir drops. You stand and this thing racks you in the ribs under your arm as you're like wiping your face down, and you will take 4 points of damage. 4 points of might damage. It ignores armor as it into your ribs. You can feel the pressure as if a rib cracked a little bit.
All armor, including magic armor?
All armor. Armor is armor. There's no distinction. Okay. What do you think? You guys are like, demigods now. You get like 15 fucking, light beams that you can put into all your stats. I gotta pump these monsters up. You guys went to the deeps. So you see that happen. You see the other one in front of you, Korax, the one that did not get splattered out, attempts to lunge towards you. This is going to be a speed defense 4 for you as well.
Another defense. Okay.
Yep.
4. Finally, success.
Okay, that one succeeds. Great. You see this Kathir sort of whip towards you with that same like serpentine motion, and as it does so, you see it like opening its mouth, and almost like vampiric, you see fangs sort of in its mouth, and its jaw distends enough that you think it would have swallowed your shoulder. But you see it like lunging towards you, mouth agape, and you dodge, and you see it clamp into where your arm used to be as you deftly maneuver out of the way. Meanwhile, Mina, you see the priest who is now the closest person to you. You see him chanting, or what you assume to be chanting. There's some sort of like low guttural noise emitting from its throat, and you see the artifact or the relic in its hand sort of glowing, and you see the glow in the eyes again transfers to him, and you see the glow sort of emit, and you just hear this very low like throat singing like noise come out of this thing, and you see where its throat is begin to extend and contract and extend and contract almost like a frog, and you hear this like noise happening, and then this like rhythmic beat coming, and you can see from the cavern in the direction you were headed before you were jumped by monsters. You see a shadow of a massive reptilian creature, and then you see as it like rounds a corner, you see another shadow of a second one trundling towards you. Oh yeah, that's right, little snakes. So Korax, as you are defending against the bite, I forgot there's ethereal energy snakes trying to kill you as well. So 3 more of these slither back to where you just were, and go ahead and make me a difficulty 6 speed defense, Korax.
Ouch. Okay. Difficulty 6. Do I do efforts? Screwed. Speed defense, you said, yep.
Yes.
6. Nope.
Okay. You see these things slide underneath you as you like maneuver out of the way of one. They counter and move towards you, and you feel them like you. It's weird to say that you feel them because they're not real. But there's like a pressure, almost like that same feeling of like when you break surface tension in water, and you can kind of feel that like pressure around where the water touches your skin. As these things swirl up your leg, and you feel them just biting you, and you will take 3 points of damage. Does not ignore armor.
Okay, so armor just reduces that number by whatever, right?
By the armor number, yep.
Okay, Korax has 2 armor from his Spellweave Cloak, and his ward gives him an additional 1, so he has 3 armor.
Okay, so you feel them biting towards you. You can feel the pressure of the bites, but your cloak and your magic is abating the damage here. What do we see Korax and Mina doing in this moment?
If Mina's close enough to the priest, he's going to make a lunge for the priest.
Yeah, go ahead. Difficulty 6 attack for this one. Ooh, hot diggity damn. Cool. GM intrusion. Outstanding. So
roll 1s very often.
That's, sometimes you do, and it's great. So basically what I'm going to say happens is he's going to use, as you lunge towards this thing, he is going to use his very snake-like attack. And you lunge towards this thing, and as you lunge, having seen you do this before, it sort of dips under, like, your exposed side. As you're, like, lunging forward with, like, your right side, it dips to the left. And you see it kind of, like, up underneath you, and you see quick, its face is like right near your face, and you immediately feel its tendrils wrap around you as these snake-like bodies sort of begins to crush you in a grip. This is his once per encounter attack here, and he's going to deal you 8 points of damage. Does not ignore armor.
Coolio.
Great. Outstanding. We cut from here back to Antares and Seydlitz. Now, because of time dilation and the funny trickery of back and forth, the boys have a few hours on you, but the difference is you have a guide, and they were sort of stumbling blindly through Korax's memory maps to get to where they were going. So the guide is leading you where you have no idea. You have to only assume that he is leading you truthfully and in a direction. But you do see that he is, there is like a path at some points. Other times he's moving off the path. There are several instances where like he has you guys hide under something and you can hear something move past. Anyone brave enough to look will see that there are these Kathir, these big, massive snake-like people sort of moving around down here. Again, you see more of these huge mushrooms, huge trees, vines sort of wrapping around things. You see like low, like huge like leaved flora all around here. There's a smell of like, it's not exactly decay, but it's definitely like the smell of an ancient forest after rain. Everything smells like the circle of life here. The ground is sort of like a layer of decay, small mushrooms underneath that. You see bones, creatures of like recently deceased, and by recently I mean like days, weeks, or months, are decomposing. There's just a smell of untouched nature around here.
It kind of, the way you're, some of these descriptions kind of remind me, like it would remind Antares of the Nightlands.
In
Like
some
stuff
capacity.
Stuff in darkness and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
in some capacity, the fact that it's like plunged in darkness at all times is kind of like a big indicator. The difference is there is a slight glow due to the bioluminescent like fungi and moss around here. And there is a forest in the Nightlands, but it is known as the Deadwood, and it is known that way for a reason. The closest you'd have to like this area would be like the marshlands. Has that same kind of like spongy ground, a little bit of decay, a little bit of natural kind of growth, but with no sun in the Nightlands. It's not that just like fungus just grows there naturally. There are certain like fungus farms, but yeah, I think this isn't entirely unfamiliar to Antares in a way.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
you guys.
she,
Okay. Go ahead.
sorry, she just might. Sorry, you said it's not too unfamiliar to her.
Yeah, in that like the darkness is kind of like you know, the darkness is more familiar to Antares than like the sun of the Ruinscape was.
Yeah. So I feel like she probably doesn't even notice because she has that stupid orb with her, that gloom orb. So like the fact that she's in the dark, she's probably like moving faster, like she's back in her natural element of a Nightland scape type of thing.
Yeah, very much so. Like it's very comfortable here.
Yeah.
Seydlitz, I'd like you to go ahead and roll me a tracking, hunting my friends check here. It's going to be a difficulty 4, and whatever you have for tracking and hunting can apply to this as well. And it's going to be a difficulty 4. I think intellect.
Nothing like following and identifying tracks.
There you go. That'll work.
4 intellect. All right. Put 1 effort in. There.
Nice.
Okay. Shortly into your journey with Tangerine, you notice the signs of, like, you've traveled with your companions for months now. You know, like, their gait, how heavy they walk, you know, and you begin to find a trail that is very clearly Mina and Korax. You can see that it is not a... with no disrespect to Korax, it is not a confident path. Like they know where they're going. You see definitely it's like walking, and then you see an area where there's like a bunch of footprints sort of around each other as they like probably check a map or get their bearing, and then it continues on. So you can identify this fairly easily and indicate this to Tangerine, who sort of like looks at what you're pointing at and then is keeping an eye out for your companions here. I'll ask you, Seydlitz, since you're the tracker, are you prioritizing safety or speed when getting to Korax and Mina?
Safety.
Okay.
No point getting ourselves killed for them.
That's fair. You got me there. So yeah. So we see again, because like, as I was saying, the time dilation. The boys have a few hours on you, but you have an experienced tracker, and so we watch as a montage of Antares and Seydlitz are descending through areas here, down cliff sides, up these like the bones of these creatures, making your way through these caverns and switchback areas and this underground rainforest almost, this prehistoric forest. as you make your way deeper and deeper into this place. And we cut back to Korax and Mina. Four, I think. So we cut back to Korax and Mina. Again, I will take 2 more speed defense, one from Korax, one from Mina, as 2 more blades leap at you from the ceiling. Hell yeah. Cool. So Mina, again, you are like wrapped up in this thing, and like all you can do to not be like hit by this thing is basically toss yourself to the side, dragging the priest with you. And you see this like go right by where your head was, and it scatters up a rock, and again you see it dissipate. Korax, you see one coming towards you. You have a Kathir like right near you that's trying to bite your head off, and you have these ethereal snakes on you. What are you doing? You have a nat 20. How do you avoid this, and what happens?
So Korax knows of the 2 guys up in the roof.
Yes.
And his only way of staying alive so far has been diving around, even though he's got snakes crawling on him. And he dives to the side of the guy in front of him and tries to put that guy between him and the guy in the ceiling.
Okay, cool. So your major effect, let me see here. Your major effect is that it's going to hit him and not you, is what I'm gathering here. Okay, so you like leap over as this guy like turns to find you, and you see this like spiral of light sort of rack him in like the solar plexus. You see it like reel backwards and sort of like lift up on its tails as it moves back. It does have armor, but it does still take some damage here. Outstanding. So you see it like get racked in the chest.
Armor?
What's that? Oh, it does negate armor.
Negate armor?
Hell yeah, it does. Good call. Good.
Like hell.
Hell yeah. Same team. See that? Yeah, so you see it like rack through, and you see like cracks in its chest armor that it's wearing. Cool. So that is their turn. I'm gonna say as a major effect that it stuns him, and he is unable to attack this turn. That being said, I will say, for the sake of not having to roll, Chris, the snakes continue to bite at you, but you negate all the damage that they do. And for Norm, or for Mina, I will take a difficulty 6 might defense to try to get these coiled snake parts off of you. Success. Okay, cool. So I'll say you break free, and as a minor effect, you can get enough away from this thing that it's not like in danger of wrapping you up again. So that is the creature's attacks. What does Korax and Mina do on their turn?
Mina will, having separated himself from the priest and gained distance, he's going to go for another attack. Bit more controlled than the last one, because he did not like being crushed.
That's fair.
Jeez.
17 will hit. That'll hit. 15 damage. Some armor. So they are at amount of math.
And +1 for the...
Oh, and +1 for the 17. That's right. So a total of 16 damage. Okay, cool. That puts them at that number. A devastating blow. However, unlike the Kathir, the priest is a little bit stronger here. As you you regain your bearing, and this thing, you see it like writhing and attempting to get back up to full height, and you get this thing in what would essentially be its hip, almost attempting to like pin it to the ground. You see it grazes a bone that's there somewhere, and your glances off this thing. You see a huge gash as this greenish ichor is just pouring out of the side of this creature. It wails in what you assume is a scream of agony. And that will be the turns of combat. And Terry's and Seydlitz, go ahead and make me a difficulty for some kind of perception check. So it's going to be intelligence-based, and anything you have for perceiving. Yes.
We both, I'm assuming Seydlitz also has it, sense ambush, where we can't be sneak attacked, or so we can't be surprised by an attack.
Okay.
Does that help us here?
It does not.
Okay. Could that give us an asset on our roll?
It does not.
I mean,
I'm
I
sorry,
have the
what was it?
ability Eye for Detail, but I don't think we're going to be sitting here for 5 minutes.
No, unfortunately, this is like as you're moving. So it's difficulty 4, intellect. Anything that helps you perceive better would help.
Like, perceive things we're looking for, or just perceive in general?
Both would count for this.
Ooh, I succeeded, bitch.
Identifying or assessing danger, I
I'll
guess.
take that.
Right.
Outstanding. Both of you hear the sounds of fighting, and you hear an otherworldly scream coming from maybe a good, 200-300 yards further into the caravan, the cavern. Something is fighting something.
Okay, we keep moving at our safe pace.
Okay.
We don't want to
Are
attract
you?
anything else.
Okay, sorry.
No, I just think we don't want to attract anything else.
Okay. Are you actively attempting to like stealth and avoid this, or are you moving towards it?
Is it like in our way or?
It's in the direction you're going. That's all you know.
Oh, we lost Matt.
That's right. He'll be back.
I'm assuming we will head that way, and then if we can try and discern who they are, like if it's our people.
Yes.
Like if it's not Mina and Korax, then we will avoid them.
Okay. So right now, when you don't know the answer to that, are you
We're heading
stealthy?
that way.
All right. So
Yeah,
go
we're
ahead
stealthy.
and roll me stealth. Roll me. It's gonna be a difficulty 6 speed.
Can my sense ambush give me a thingy dingy, an asset?
No, because you're headed in the general direction of an ambush.
Okay.
So you sensed it already.
I'm totally reaching here. Push on through. I ignore the effects of terrain while moving. Could that give me an asset?
Nope, that's just a thing that happens. So if there's a difficult terrain, it doesn't bother you.
Just reaching here, Michael.
I appreciate the reach. It does not help you be quieter.
And this is speed. Oops, shit. Damn it. I wanted to spend effort, but whatever. I don't think that's enough anyway.
If you spent an effort, that would have made it a difficulty. No, that would not have done it. That would have made it down to difficulty 4, which would have needed a 12. You rolled a 7. Seydlitz, you can also go ahead and roll me a stealth. This is difficulty 6. Difficulty 6 speed, any kind of stealthy stuff.
All right, sorry about that.
You could.
Zoom
All
just
right.
kind of shut off. Stealth, huh?
While you were gone, while you're rolling, we're moving stealthily closer. If we can determine it's Korax and Mina, we will obviously go in and help. But if we find out it's not them, we will avoid. the combat.
So instead of rolling a difficulty 6 speed, can I use 3 speed points to use Evanescence? Step into the shadows or behind cover, and everyone who was observing you completely loses track of you. Although you're not invisible, you can't be seen until you reveal yourself again by moving out of the shadows.
Man, I like that. Yeah, yeah, sure. You can spend points for that. Technically, you are moving out of the shadows, but that's fine. I'll take a point reduction for a cool ability. Cool. So the two of you slow down your pace, or the three of you, I guess, slow down your space and begin to move, cautiously and carefully in the direction of the sounds of the fighting. We will cut back to the fighting. And again, Korax, you are on the receiving end of some bad Kathir business. 1 speed defense as one whips a thing at you from the ceiling.
So last round, Korax didn't take an action.
Oh,
so
I'm
his
so
action
sorry.
would have been. It's right. His action was to do his blessings of the god, protection, and silence. So he creates a bubble, and it just reduces the difficulty of all defense tasks.
Yeah, great. Sorry about that.
That's right.
So this one whips a thing at you, and is the bubble around you and Mina, or just you?
It's in a short range around me.
Okay.
So if Mina's not next to me, he doesn't get the blessings, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
That's the joys of being next to such a great god. Is you get blessings.
Yeah.
This is difficulty 6. You said?
Difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4. Okay. Effort to roll. I'm not going to roll with effort. 1 asset from the doodad. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Apologies. Difficulty 4. No effort. 1 asset.
Nope. Unfortunately, this thing another one towards you as it you see it like almost slow down as it hits your bubble and then break through at record speed and hit you for another 4 points of damage, negating armor. You see the other one sort of loom up over you as you are sort of like you're kind of in like a scramble almost, like you did a dive and then you like scrambled behind one, so you're still kind of like at a lower position, and this thing looms up. You see its tail sort of like fan out and make it bigger, and it is going to attempt to intimidate you, so you can make me a difficulty 4 intellect defense roll here.
Difficulty 4.
Can't intimidate the greatest god that there ever was.
You know, hard
Exactly.
to do. They don't know.
Well, they're gonna find out.
Success! You know what? You cannot intimidate a god this great. Oh, man. Who knew? Who would have known?
Does he know
Can't
who
even
he's messing
spell
with?
intimidate.
That's true. That is absolutely true. Cool. That is it for this creature. Mina, in close range, you see that this thing, the Kathir priest, reduced to physicality, lunges towards you. Go ahead and make me a difficulty 6 speed defense. Your shield can help. Hell yeah. So you see this thing lunge towards you, and again, just like Korax, it unhinges its jaw and lunges towards you, and you get your shield up, sort of like knocking it in the side of the face as it lunges towards you. What are the two of you doing?
Mina bashes the attack away with his shield, and he quickly follows up with a quick jab from his spear.
Okay, go ahead and roll difficulty 6. Hell yeah. Describe how you kill the priest.
So the priest lunges at him. Mina bashes his attack away with his shield and just shortens his hold on the spear that he's just holding below the spearhead and just rams it into the heart of this creature.
You hear it recoil, or you hear it like, as it leans back and screeches. And Terry's and Seydlitz, you hear this scream as it echoes along the cavern walls. And you see it slump, like almost like grabbing at your spear, and then as the life drains out of it, you see it sort of slump and the hands sort of fall to their side. And as you sort of get your bearing, you see that there are still two on the ceiling, and Corax is sort of fumbling around with another one that is behind you. Corax, what are you doing in this moment?
Do those snakes that are biting Corax disappear?
They do.
With that? They do. Okay. Corax is going to attempt an ability he hasn't used before. It is Steal Name. You can attempt to discern the common given name of an object, blah, blah, blah. But if you do it to a person, they cease to take any actions for up to 1 minute as it tries to recall its name for as long as you use your action each round to concentrate on hiding its name. If the target is attacked, endangered, or seriously provoked, it stops worrying about its name and acts normally.
I think it is seriously provoked.
I'm not provoking it.
It started it. Jeez.
Exactly. I'm just sitting there nicely on the floor.
You've got me. You have not provoked it, I guess, technically. Yeah, I'll allow you to make that roll. What I'm going to say is I'll let you make that roll, but at a difficulty 5, because you are
Difficulty
in
5.
combat with it.
Okay, perfect. Difficulty 5. I'm going to have to use effort. There. I've got nothing else that'll help. No assets. Nat 20.
Oh, very good.
Okay. So describe to me what happens and what your major effect is.
Major effect, I'm not sure, but Corax, as he's lying on the floor, because this whole time he's been diving, ducking, weaving, is basically on the floor.
Yeah.
Because why do you need to stand up to fight?
Right, of course.
And he starts to like stare at this creature as it puffs itself up and gets itself ready to attack. And he looks into it and he starts concentrating on it. And the name of it comes to his mind and he calls it out. Not a normal name or whatever it is, and as he does, the creature just stops. And he moves himself into a position to have that creature between him and the guys throwing things at him. And he is going to duck himself in that spot.
Okay. So they are essentially, like, it is providing consistent cover for you.
As it just stands there, yeah. He just sits between him and the guys on the ceiling.
Okay, cool. I like that. So that is everyone's move here. We cut back to the other side. And Terry's and Seydlitz, you heard that scream. What are the two of you doing?
Moving closer.
Okay.
Slowly but surely inching closer. Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. So as you inch closer, the sounds of battle kind of continue, and we will cut. Here's what I'll do. I will say, Corax, I'm going to have you make me both of those speed defenses, but I'm going to have you make them at a difficulty of 2, as you have interspersed someone who is basically like a brain-dead shield in front of yourself.
So that's 2 speed defenses, yeah?
Yeah, 2 of them at difficulty 2.
Okay.
Should be fairly feasible.
Success on
1
the
success.
first. 2. And a failure on the second.
Okay, so I will say your first one beat by such a large margin here that one is going to take it. But in doing so, it gets hit with one of these light blasts, and it sort of like toddles off to the side, and it exposes you just enough where poof, you get whacked with another one of these for 4 more points of damage. That's basically their turn. That can't do anything. I assume you're hiding its name still?
I imagine that hit's going to stop its name from being hidden because it's just being attacked. Even though it's
that's true. That's fair. That's fair. But that does negate its turn. So what would you like to do? You and Mina, what would you like to do?
I think Mina will. The priest was using some sort of wand or something.
Yeah,
was he?
some sort of relic of a kind.
I think Mina will grab that and toss it towards where Korax is on the floor, and then square up against the Kathir that's on Korax.
Okay. So you grab this relic and sort of toss it in the direction of Korax, and I'll say that's a free action. Then you want to stab at this other Kathir. Go for it. Difficulty 4, stab to the face.
Oof.
Hell yeah. Describe how you kill this and what the major effect is.
Mina turns on the Kafir, who's obviously got his back towards Mina, trying to grab a hold of Korax, and literally thrusts his spear through the chest. And can Mina literally launch this Kathir at one of the other Kathirs on a stalactite?
Yeah, hell yeah, you can. So you stab this thing and just sort of pendulum it up and launch it up towards the ceiling. You see it smash into like the base of the stalactite and come crushing down. You see the other one sort of scrambling as it grabs on, sort of tentacles loosening on this thing as the stalactite itself begins to fall. And one of them, an entire stalactite falls from the ceiling, bringing with it the Kathir. And you hear a guttural scream as this thing is crushed underneath this. And Terry's Seydlitz, you hear all the same stuff. The ceiling begin to collapse underneath you. And as the two of you, three, if we conclude Tandri, as the three of you make your way through this undergrowth, you see standing before you is Mina, greenish blood spray on him. You see Korax sort of crouched below, reaching for some sort of glowing relic. And you see the two of them surrounded by corpses of these snake-like beings. And as before you can actually get to them, as Antares and Seydlitz, you realize that you have made it to your companions. All of you here. And that's where we end this episode.
I knew you would.
What do you mean?
So glad it took so long.
Mike is testing out sound effects.
That is where we end episode 43 of The Rise. That was a good time. All right, let's go around, do some introductions. We can get them out of here. But first, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on Patreon, just like these fine folks. Go check us out over at patreon.com/unMadeGaming. Join us at the free tier, but if you really like what we do here, join us at the $5 tier and support the channel and all kinds of fun endeavors that we have coming up. While you're over there clicking on that link, make sure you click on that Discord link. Join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. But for now, let's go around, do our outros so we can get the hell out of here and do our after show, do some stars, do some wishes, and upload that to Patreon later today. We'll start with the troublemaker himself that caused all of this. Chris, who are you? Where can we find you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
I'm Chris Akinoko. You can find me here on unMadeGaming only in the Patreon one-shots, the campaign, as well as Atari Twilight Age of Always when we have that next scheduled, which I think is October.
October 12th? Yeah.
Something is. It's in the Discord.
Yeah.
Dates
join
around.
us.
So, but in the Discord. If you're not in there, join.
Hell yeah. Let's see, the cooperator of the chaos that ensued today. Norm, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm nothing if not an enabler for shenanigans.
It's true.
I'm Normal Snow. You can find me in the one-shots and in this campaign, and sometimes in the Discord.
Hell yeah. The hater of all things chaotic and bad for her. G, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hi, I'm G, the friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. Yeah, you'll find me in the Discord and all things unMadeGaming, all the Patreon stuff, Age of Always. Yeah. You know where to find me.
Hell yeah. And last but not least, Matt, where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Matt or D. You'll find me here in the Patreon campaign and one shots, Mike's Discord, and that's about it.
Hell yeah. Come back next weekend. We have this entire crew is back for not this game, but it is this whole crew, right? For Alien. Alien is happening next Saturday.
I missed it last month, so I'd be jumping in. I don't know what I'd be doing.
That's all right. We have an Alien show coming up next month, and we also have a one shot with Starscape. That I always fuck up the name because I had another show called Starstruck. It's Starscape. So those are our Patreon one-shots coming up next week, so come back, check those out. And like I said, join us in the Discord, join us in the Patreon, do all that fun stuff. But for now, we will see you guys next time. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.